Welcome to part 3 of the video build log for the Dynam T-28. In this part we'll discuss the wiring, some canopy tricks, and look at the operation of the flight controls. Well, as you can see, I've got the radio installed, the receiver installed, and I'm using an orange brand with a satellite receiver. I've got the satellite wire just taped up right now with a piece of blue painter's tape. I have my radio set up, a Spectrum 7C, which with the ailerons on the aileron channel, the flaps on aux 1, use the flap system setting to provide the operation of the flaps, and then the other controls are just installed on the receiver as labeled. Now, the other thing you may notice is I changed out the connector on the ESC over here to Dean's. So all my batteries have got Dean's plugs, and so I changed that out. Of course, you could keep the banana plug and build an adapter with the banana on one side and the bullet connector on one side and a Dean's on the other if you have the same issue. The other thing I wanted to point out is this little device here. I'm using an external BEC, which I've got located right on the wall over here, and so it comes with one of these JST connectors, and so by with one of these it saves me the trouble of having to solder Dean's connectors. I found these at a trade show recently, and they're really pretty handy. They've got the female connector on one, the male on the other, and then the wire with the to a JST plug going out the top, which allows me then to just simply plug in the ESC to that connector, and then I can plug the battery in right here, and then my external BEC always has power. So if I were to blow up the ESC, the receiver's still going to get power so long as the battery has got power. And so the wiring went together pretty easily, and there's plenty of room in the interior of the model for you to do a number of things in there without any trouble. I really didn't like these little, what I call Jack and Jill pilots, the little red guy and the little blue guy who were mounted in the canopy. The canopy was really easy to take off. The canopy is right here. It's got really just soft glue around the edge, and using the back side, not the sharp side, but the back side of my hobby knife, I was able to kind of trace around the canopy, and it lifted right off. I've been using these Williams Brothers pilots, and this is the 1/8 scale pilot. The airplane's about 1/10 scale, so these are a little bigger than what you would maybe expect to see, but they look pretty good in there that you can see them beyond the canopy. They come in front and back, and then a little visor that you can put down over the front, and as you can see, I have the visor down with this particular pilot. There's not an oxygen mask, and that probably would be the case in this airplane. It flew high enough to do that, but they look better than the little guys that came with it. So I have the model pilot painted with blue flight suits, which were kind of typical for that era, as I recall, seeing several Navy instructors around in my military career with blue flight suits. And then I used just a silver marking pen around the beam or the brace of the visor, and so it gives it a much better appearance. And these little Williams pilots go together well, and they have a really pretty nice appearance to them. So that's what we're going to do. And then now I'm just going to take some canopy glue, regular canopy glue here that dries clear, and I'm going to run that around the edge of the canopy and then mount the canopy back on this hatch cover piece. You may have noticed that I've also gotten most of the decals on the airplane. The Dynam decals are very good. They're bright, colorful, heavy duty, and sticky, so they hang on to the airplane very well. The other thing I like about these models is that the decals come on a separate decal sheet, which allows me to make sure that the roundels have the stars pointed in the right direction. As an old Air Force guy, it always drives me crazy when the stars are upside down on the roundels. So let me show you a little bit how I put these on. I pull the vinyl away from the decal on the backing sheet, and then I fold the backing sheet back, and as you can see, I've cut off a bit of that backing sheet, allowing a little bit of the stickiness right there. What that allows me to do is to position the decal the way I want it very carefully before I get it stuck down. Then I can hold it in place, run my thumb over the part that's sticky, and then I can just fold back the backing and then just gently use my thumb to bring the decal down onto the surface of the model. You want to be careful as you do this to try to avoid wrinkles and so forth. And then the other thing you'll notice is that the decals, the 091 decal, is also going to provide some tape to hold the cowling secure. It's mounted with magnets underneath there, but this additional decal is also going to provide some tape. Of course, you're going to want to remember to slit the decal if you have to pull the cowling off for any reason. So that's pretty much all there is on the decals, and we can see that it's a pretty good fit. Now, I wanted to show you one other thing that I tend to do with these models that have the hatch cover made up of the canopy portion of the model. And as you can see, that's built to lift off, and they've got magnets that hold this on. But after a while, pushing on the model, you're going to start softening the foam or leaving dirty fingerprints. And so what I like to do with my models is I just take out a little bit of the foam and then put a popsicle stick or an epoxy stirring stick across, and then I leave just a little bit of a tab. I've got maybe 1/8 of an inch of a tab out on the end, and I try to paint it as close as I can to the color of the paint, which allows me then to install the canopy very nicely. But then when I want to raise the canopy to get at my battery, I can just reach in this case, since my hand doesn't quite go over the top, I can use just both fingers and just reach up and lift it up very simply and easily instead of crushing the foam. In this head-on shot, you'll be able to see the retraction of the landing gear. Here they are going up and coming down. And the flight controls are pretty typical. Ailerons, back to the elevator going up and down, and nose wheel steering and rudder connected across the back. I hope you've enjoyed this video build log of the Dynam T-28. I can't wait to get it out to the field.